You know, the roof over your head, it's probably the most expensive part of your house that you never, ever think about. Until, of course, it fails. And let me tell you, here in Denver, they fail a lot. Today, we're going to pull back the shingles and get into the secret science behind one of the most high-stakes challenges a home can face, surviving the absolutely brutal climate of Denver, Colorado.
So, I bet you think a roof is just, well, a roof, right? A simple, passive shield to keep the rain out. And you know what? In most places, you'd be totally right. But here, along the Front Range, making that assumption is a really costly mistake. Look at it this way. In a mild climate, your roof is basically a passive shelter. It just sits there. But in Denver, oh no. It is an active frontline defense system. It's constantly at war with an environment that is literally trying to tear it apart. It's the difference between a simple raincoat you'd wear in a drizzle and a full suit of armor you'd wear into battle.
So, what exactly is this enemy we're talking about? Let's meet the antagonist in our story and break down exactly why Denver's climate is considered one of the most destructive environments for a roof in all of North America. The numbers, well, they really don't lie. We're talking about over 300 days of intense sun every year. Daily temperature swings of 40 degrees or more. Think about that. Your roof is constantly expanding and contracting. And because we're a mile high, everything is bombarded with 25% more intense UV radiation. It's not just one of these things, it's the combination, this relentless three-pronged attack. And the result? Roofing materials just break down so much faster. A standard 20-year roof might barely last 14 years here.
But it's not just the climate in general. There are 4 very specific ways Denver's weather wages war on your roof. It's like a coordinated 4-pronged assault on your home's most important shield.
First up, you've got the brute force attack, hail. Denver sits right in the heart of what's called Hail Alley. And this isn't just about some cosmetic dents. No, this is high-velocity impact. It's like your roof is getting hit with thousands of tiny hammers, over and over, fracturing the shingle's protective outer layer. And that just opens the door for every other kind of damage to get in.
Next up is the silent killer, UV degradation from that intense, high-altitude sun. It is constantly, and I mean constantly, cooking your roof. It breaks down all the essential oils in the asphalt, turning your once flexible shingles brittle and weak. This makes them super easy to crack and basically ages them years faster than a roof at sea level.
Then, of course, winter brings its own nasty weapon, ice dams. Here's how it works. Snow on your roof melts from the heat escaping your attic. That water runs down to the cold edge of the roof, and it refreezes solid. This creates a literal dam of ice that traps all the water behind it, forcing it up and under your shingles and, yep, right into your home.
And finally, there's the relentless force of wind. The Front Range is notorious for incredibly powerful winds, especially those Chinook winds that can gust over 100 miles per hour. That force is always trying to find a weak spot, to get under the edge of a shingle and just peel it back like the lid on a tin can.
And what's so powerful about this is that you can see the evidence of this battle for yourself. You see those tiny little granules in your gutter? That's your roof's armor being literally blasted off by hail and UV rays. Those water stains on your ceiling? That's the calling card of an ice dam. This chart is basically a direct diagnosis of the war being waged right over your head.
Okay, so we've met the enemy, and it is relentless. The question is, how do we fight back? Let's take a look at how you actually engineer a roof that can win this war. The entire defense starts with this number, Class 4. And let me be clear, this is not some marketing fluff. It's a hardcore scientific standard for impact resistance. To earn this rating, a roofing material has to withstand a 2-inch steel ball being dropped from 20 feet without cracking. Seriously, think of it as ballistic armor for your roof. It's the absolute minimum standard for any roof that's going to survive out here. But that armor, it's just one piece of a complete defensive system. It has to be paired with an ice and water shield. That's a specialized self-sealing membrane you put in the most vulnerable areas to create a totally waterproof barrier. You also need a synthetic underlayment that can handle these extreme temperature swings and ventilation that's actually designed for high-altitude air pressure. Every single component has a critical job to do. But here is the thing, and this is what trips up so many people. The best materials in the entire world are completely useless if they're not installed correctly for this specific environment. High-altitude insulation is a science. It means you need adjusted nail gun pressures for the thinner air and specialized sealants that stay flexible during those crazy 40-degree temperature swings.
So if you're a homeowner facing this, what does that expert installation actually look like?
What is the playbook for a successful, modern roof replacement?
A modern expert process is all about technology and transparency. It starts with an inspection that uses drones and thermal imaging to find hidden moisture, which, by the way, is often the source of the most expensive damage. It means constant communication, photo updates while the build is happening, and at the end, meticulous documentation for your insurance and for your warranty.
And in a place like this that gets so many storms, here's a non-negotiable part of the process. A true professional, they act as your expert advocate. They don't just fix your roof, they meet the adjuster on site and use their detailed reports to navigate the complex insurance claim for you, making sure you get the coverage you actually deserve. So, we've seen the threats, and we've seen the solutions. But there is one more critical piece that ties this whole thing together, and it's the reason a one-size-fits-all approach is absolutely doomed to fail here in Denver.
You see, a generic contractor, they just follow a standard manual, but a Denver specialist, they understand that a roof in Lakewood that's getting blasted by Chinook winds might need extra wind-resistant features, while a roof over in Aurora might need to be optimized for extreme sun exposure. They get the local codes, the microclimates, and the high-altitude science.
And that, right there, is the single most important takeaway from all of this. A Denver roof isn't just a product you buy off a shelf. It is a complex, engineered system. A system designed from the deck all the way up with one very specific mission: to survive in a uniquely hostile environment.
Which really just leaves us with one final, crucial question for you to think about. When you look at your own home's primary defense system, is your roof truly built to survive everything Colorado is going to throw at it, or was it just built to exist?